So for further analysis on the Ecuadorian general elections, we are joined by Jorge Moreno, the former consul at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Thank you, Jorge, for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much.
My first question to you, the current administration has been accused of radically changing its position on a number of foreign policy positions. Among the widely known ones is the expulsion of Julian Assange from the embassy in London. What other areas has the Moreno administration taken differing positions from the previous government?
Well, the current government has violated all the human rights of Julian Assange, violating international law to give the victim to the prosecutor, which is totally against the international law and human rights. And this is the first case in the world that a country that should protect a citizens who is fighting for his human rights, to give it to the prosecutor. In this case, is also very important because Julian Assange is a defender of free speech, and he's been accused of giving information that he hasn't stolen from the U.S. Government. And he's a journalist, he's not a hacker, and he's just promoting free speech and human rights.
It's interesting you raised that point because during the popular protests in October 2019, we did see the government storm a number of media houses right here in Ecuador because of the situation and the coverage of that incident. But moving on from that point, I'd like to ask you what implications an Arauz victory would have on the country's foreign policy relations with regional organizations such as the Organization of American States, the Lima Group, and such.
Well, I believe that the victory of Andres Arauz will be very important for the region because with the previous president, Rafael Correa, it was built a strong brotherhood with other countries in Latin America, with UNASUR and ALBA, to protect them between them, and also promote integration and promote commerce, and to have sovereign countries deciding international policies, international foreign policy between the countries and Latin American countries. So his victory will be very important for the region because it's time to rebuild these relations with all these countries.
That said, how important would you say, Jorge, is a first-round victory for Arauz?
It's very important. It is very important because it would be a massive boost for not only for our political organization. It will be for the country itself, because the current government, nobody can stand him. Nobody can support all the policies that has applied. That it goes against the population, the Ecuadorian population. Everybody is struggling. The economy is struggling. The justice system is struggling. So the sooner we win, it's better for the country to start already developing a new policy with the new president itself and the political movement. So it's very important for us to win in the first round.
November last year, the United States went to the polls and we saw a change in government, and with that, a dramatic change in that country's foreign policy. What do you think would happen in this case in Ecuador if Arauz is the victor? How would relations with the United change differ? Because under the Lenin Moreno administration, we've sort of seen the government kind of pander to the needs and requirements of the United States.
I think the relation will be equal, and it will be probably stronger, because the idea for us and for our political movement is to keep strong relationships with everyone. Well, not only with the US, with Europe, with China, with Russia, with all the countries that is available to open relationships and bilateral agreements, but not only as a country that has to accept the agreements or the policies. The US is a strong commercial and political ally for all countries in Latin America. That it doesn't mean that they have to impose policies. So they have to respect our sovereignty, and I'm sure the Andres Arauz will make hear our voice in all international scenarios.
Jorge, thank you so much for joining us and presenting us with that insight on this particular case that is taking place in Ecuador. As millions head to the polls today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Jorge Moreno, the former consul at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. We do have more stories coming up, and in fact,